pleasure to meet y'all at last, and welcome back to the Vlog-A-Thon 4.0. And yeah, I'm back here again, just to talk a lot more about anything else that's coming about. But you know what? Let's take a little detour away from the channel itself, because nowadays, I feel like that maybe there should be a lot that I will want to talk about in terms of other people. Because you know what they say. You can't always do what you want. You have to find out about other people. And when it comes to that particular little pearl of wisdom of mine that I've known since childhood, then I might as well go ahead and start talking a little bit about someone else here. And I feel like I know where to start firsthand. James Rolfe of Cinemassacre Video. So yeah, it has been a little while since the last time I've pretty much talked about James Rolfe and AVGN as a whole, but what I gotta say at this point is that, well, first of all, it looks like AVGN is doing pretty darn good, alongside many of the other series that Cinemassacre currently offers. Of course, YKWBS is still around. As a matter of fact, I mean, we've been getting plenty of episodes for that series since this past May. And that's been a pretty big deal, actually. It had been more than 2 years since Cinemassacre had done some YKWBS related stuff. But since this past May and the 7 months that have followed, I'd say things have been doing pretty darn good here. There's been a lot of YKWBS episodes that have come out since then, but let's talk a little bit about AVGN at this point. So, right now it is mid-December. And what I got to say about AVGN by today's standards is that, well, first of all, there are, of course, episodes coming about once a month. Of course, I can never really find out why AVGN had to skip the entire month of February and not upload a single episode of AVGN right around there. They did the same exact thing back in 2019, where there was nothing in between the chronologically confused episode centered on the Kingdom Hearts series and, of course, the episode about video game magazines. There was nothing in February 2019. And here in 2020, it happened yet again. There was nothing in February, so I don't really know exactly what the problem with that was. But all in all, I will say that AVGN has really been looking up pretty well at this point. Episode counts have been steadily climbing up pretty well, with an episode coming every once a month or so. And looking back at everything that we've gotten since the start of 2020, we started off with Raid 2020, which was rightfully put out onto the channel. And I mean, of course, there was this huge array of other games that would have pretty much had to wait for some time before we'd be able to play them as well. Then, of course, there was Mortal Kombat ports, then Mortal Kombat rip-offs, and then Dennis the Menace, then the Incredible Crash Dummies, and then some of the newer Final Fight games, and then Mission Impossible. And then, of course, we had ourselves a classic that I will never forget about playing, Echo the Dolphin on Sega Genesis. And then we eventually got ourselves another game on PlayStation 1, Countdown Vampires. And we also shouldn't forget the fact that, well, NES eventually started coming back to us pretty quickly with The Legend of Kage. And then, of course, well, you could probably just say that our most recent episode, as said by James Rolfe, is pretty much going to be covering 2 entire collections of, well, Japanese-style games on PlayStation 2. That's 2 entire discs. I mean, Countdown Vampires did have 2 discs itself, but that's nothing compared to 2 separate games involving, well, 2 big collections of different games made by the same company that made Legend of Kage on NES, and the arcade port, no less. But, well, I will say, the reviews, they never do stop coming, do they? It's almost like the bad game empire itself. I don't really know what else to call it at this point, so the bad game empire is what I'm sticking to it. End of story. I just don't really know why we need to have more AVGN around. I mean, what was the purpose of making a video that talks about the decline of James Rolfe and AVGN and Cinemassacre itself. There really is no decline of Cinemassacre Video itself. Being that it's been around for not even 20 years, I see zero reason to want to argue about the fact that, well, it's going to be here to stay. And to be fair, lots of things here are going to be here to stay. Kaiju Force Neo is going to be here to stay, and many, many other things as well. But I don't need to get to those, so let's just say that AVGN, throughout this whole year and last year, they've gotten much, much bigger. And I could pretty much say that 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, and so on, they're probably going to get even bigger. There might be a time where AVGN episodes will probably come out twice a month, or bi-monthly. Yeah. I'm bringing that thing up again. But luckily it's relevant, because there was a YKWBS episode that talked specifically about that. And ironically enough, it was the episode of YKWBS that talked about bi-monthly and what it is supposedly. That pretty much signaled the resurgence of YKWBS on Cinemassacre after more than 2 years. But here, with AVGN, things can only get bigger and probably even better. I honestly cannot wait to see what episode 200 is going to be like. Is it going to be even bigger than Rob the Robot? Is it going to be even bigger than Earthbound? Is it going to be even bigger than Superman 64? Is it going to be even bigger than anything else that we've ever seen before on AVGN? I guess only time will tell. But I can only say that maybe episode 200 may not come out until maybe 2022 or something like that, because of how the process has been working in recent times. So I guess we'll wait and find out how that all turns out. But until that happens, if you want to see more, go down to my channel. Make sure that you like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media, and stay on the Hollywood side.